This is the Barbecue Central Radio Show, which is recorded live each Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. The Barbecue Central Radio Show is being brought to you by The Barbecue Guru, the original creators of automatic temperature control devices, now offering 4 different models for you to choose from. Rest easy knowing that The Barbecue Guru is controlling your pit temperature so you can get on with your life. Visit bbqguru.com or call 800-288-GURU for more information. And by Fred's Music and Tasty Licks BBQ Supply, your online barbecue and grilling superstore. From cookers to grills, wood chips and chunks, and everything in between. Also be sure to try the Tasty Licks barbecue brand of rubs and sauces. Check Fred out online at tastylicksbbq.com. And by Stephen DeFranco Jewelers. Located in beautiful Willoughby, Ohio, Stephen DeFranco Jewelers is a family-owned and operated business looking to service the great folks of the barbecue and grilling world. Get free shipping and big discounts by mentioning my name and the term Barbecue Brother. Check out their inventory by visiting StephenDeFranco.com. And by Butcher Barbecue, with 30 years of experience in retail, wholesale, meat markets, food service, and customer service. Using that experience, everything they do and sell at Butcher's Barbecue comes from real-world knowledge. Check out their award-winning spices, sauces, marinades, and injections by visiting ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher. And by iGrill. The iGrill is a Bluetooth-enabled cooking thermometer that allows you to monitor the temperature of your food and smoker or grill from up to 200 feet away. Using the free iGrill app for your iPhone, iPad, and Android devices, you can set preferred temperatures, and your smart device will alert you when it's ready. It's perfect for cooking steaks to perfection or low and slow smokers overnight. Head to iGrill Inc., that's the letter I, grillinc.com to learn more. And by Barbecuer's Delight Wood Pellets, the barbecue wood pellet choice of competition cooks and backyard hacks just like me. The perfect blend of 2/3 oak and 1/3 flavor wood gives you that right BTU burn and flavor that you're looking to get all over your meat with smoky goodness. Visit bbqrsdelight.com. And by Green Mountain Grills. Discover something you're really going to love. Cooking with pellets. Green Mountain Grills are widely available across the country. Top-of-the-line manufacturing, but not the highest in price. Visit greenmountaingrills.com to get started on your pellet adventure today.
Give me a beat!
Hello, everybody. This is Gary Ben Nerd Chuck, host of Wine Library TV, a.k.a. WLTV, the #1 wine show on the internet. And this is BBQ Central.
So to get that perfect barbecue, you use wood. Are you sure it's safe? Whatever. We put the lighter fluid on, strike the match, and oh! Should we call the fire department? That might be a good idea.
All right, good evening, and welcome to the Really Big Barbecue Central Show. Yeah, it's the show that talks about all things important in the world of barbecue and grilling, broadcasting live and direct from the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame city of Cleveland, Ohio. Rapidly becoming known as the barbecue capital of the North Coast. I'm your program host, Greg Rempe. Happy to have you aboard here on your Tuesday. If you're inclined to get in touch with the show, there's 2 ways to do it. It's a toll-free call, 877-448-0433. You can also email the show, greg@thebbqcentralshow.com. Those are your 2 ways to get in touch with me, should you see fit. Everything else about the show can be found at the main website, thebbqcentralshow.com. And pretty much everything else you want to even think about the show is available right there. All right. Coming up in about 13 minutes from now, if you were wondering what's happening tonight, about 14 past, Patrick Martin from Martin's Barbecue will be joining us. I've been trying to get after Patrick for, I want to say 4 years. It's probably even longer than that. timing has worked out, and Patrick Martin's barbecue joint, will be on in about 13 minutes from now. Then we will move to 9:35. Missed her last week. A little mix-up in Communicado, but she's back. And Linnea Oxley from Sugar's Barbecue. She won the, not this past Sunday, but the Sunday before's Barbecue Pitmasters on the television on Destination America. So we'll be talking to her and kind of recap that win and how she's looking or possibly moving into, because she moves into the semifinals or whatever they're calling it, the regional round if we're going Sam's Club on it. And then we move to the second hour, 14 past 10 o'clock. He is the number one prophet of smoked meat. Daniel Vaughn rejoins the show. Dan A. So we'll be talking to him about how he's the only barbecue editor in the country for Texas Monthly. We'll be talking about his book, The Prophets of Smoked Meat. And there's a subtitle after that, which I can't remember off the top of my head. We're going to be talking about how it all started from the Full Custom Gospel Barbecue website and a number of other things as well. So that's 10:14. And then we'll make a call in reference. Can anybody? I can't. Goddamn camera. Yeah, here we go. In reference to the All-Star game being played tonight, we'll make a call to the bully and find Scott Roberts doing sauce and rub reviews to close out the show. Strong. I'm going to close strong. That's what you have on tap. I'm excited. Are you excited? Damn right you're excited. Patrick Martin coming up in 11 minutes. All right. If you're watching the show, if you are taking it in any of the ways you consume it, we'll get that here in a second. Do me a favor. Write a Facebook post. Make a tweet out that you're watching the show right now. One of two different ways. Well, one of a veritable cornucopia of ways. The most popular video feed, OutdoorCookingChannel.com. If you want to go directly there, OutdoorCookingChannel.com/watch-now. Or just go to OutdoorCookingChannel.com. You can also listen to the show audibly if you have a smart device. If you don't want to look at me, I dig it. If you just want the audible, because this was originally the Barbecue Central radio show. We've dropped kind of the radio out, and it's now a Barbecue Central show. Because really, that's kind of more what it is now. It's a show. Because you do have a video aspect. But if you just want the old school audio, you can get it at thebbqcentralshow.com. You can also download the TuneIn Radio app on your smartphone. It's free in any store. You can also buy, I think it's $2 or whatever it is, or 99 cents for the paid version. And you don't get any ads. I like free. You know my saying, if it's free, it's me. And just search BBQ Central and add it as a favorite, and you can stream it anywhere you want to go. Don't forget, when the show isn't live 9 to 11 on Tuesdays, you will get all of the past years, well, all the past shows in 2013 will play for you specifically in rotation, off hours, as we like to call it in the business. Now, if you have Internet Protocol television like Roku, you can also get the show there. Download the Outdoor Cooking Channel app, and then the very first option that you have is called like scheduled stream or whatever. You can see this show live right there on Roku, and you can take it in the grandioseness of your flat screen television, comfort of your own couch. So it's a fun way to consume the show. Also, I've heard Rabbit TV, which has 6,000 viewers. It's a USB stick that also has Outdoor Cooking Channel on it. It has us listed, us, Centralites, as a live show Tuesdays from 9 to 11. So a number of different ways to take in the show. You do what's easiest for you, and of course the majority do it podcast after the fact. That's audio. Well, they do YouTube, whatever. Those are the ways that you can do, or you can get in touch with the show, watch the show, all that good stuff. 877-448-0433, Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. All right, a lot of people in the instant chat going, Rempe, what is going on with the glasses? Are they real? Is it a fake? Let's dispense with the suspense. Fake. Absolutely. You can see it. I can put my fingers right in there. You know, I figure you watch all of these professional athletes that seem to be really big in the NBA. You know, after the game, they would get all dressed up. A lot of them wore the backpacks. And, you know, all the big-name stars, Kevin Durant and Michael Westbrook and LeBron James and Dwayne Wade and Chris Bosh, you know, they're all wearing these big, thick glass rims with no lenses in them, just like this. And I was aghast. I couldn't understand, why would you wear something like that? Well, then my daughters went and saw Monster University in 3D, and they came home with 3D sunglasses, and according to my wife, they promptly punched out the 3D lenses that were in those on the way back home, and they've been wearing these things ever since. It's one of the most odd things I've ever seen in my life. So odd that I said, next show, I put them right up there on my production desk. I said, I'm going to wear them. And why not? If everybody else is wearing them, I can wear them too. I encourage you to get your own 3D pair of glasses, bust out the rims, and do whatever. Wear them around. It's a fashion statement. A lot of people wondering if this is going to be in honor of this. Hey, everybody, Harry Carey here. Okay, it's the All-Star game tonight. We're going to have lots of fun and libations. We're going to eat barbecue and drink our faces off and throw up when we're done. Yeah! It's not that. No way. This is just a fashion statement. All right, got an email coming in from John, my good friend over in the UK. Greg, hope you're well. In response to the warm beer in Europe conversation you had at the beginning of this past Tuesday's show, it was probably 2 weeks ago, I can't speak for the rest of Europe, which I encourage people to do. Speak for the country. Who cares? Paint in broad strokes. We love our lager-style beers ice cold. Our real ale bitters, tend to be served cool. Any colder, and it will kill the subtle flavors of the hops, barley, etc. Show's been fantastic, and I've just ordered a load of rubs and sauce from that rub and sauce company in the UK, so I'm looking forward to trying out some of those, especially the JP Custom Smoke Beef Rub. Johnny! Awesome. John, by the way, is the gentleman that introduced me to the caipirinha, which we made during our cocktail time segments, which I believe we'll be bringing back next week because it's just far too, literally the breath of hell the last 2 days. So it calls for this particular drink, which will go ahead and reopen the cocktail time vault and be back in the kitchen next week to teach you how to make this drink, because you're going to want to make it early off, especially on those really hot days. Especially the really cold days. Why not? If you like it, drink it anytime you want. Why not? I was reading the Barbecue Bible blog. You know this Stephen Reichland character. He was on the show last week to rave reviews. I don't know if anybody else saw this. Did you guys see that there was a $100,000 hamburger winner? Aaron Evison won $100,000 for the Build a Better Burger contest that was sponsored by the Sutter Home Winery in California, Napa Valley. Stephen was a judge for this event, and she had a cashew nut-crusted French sandwich roll, layers of peppery watercress tempura, fresh mint basil aioli, and made from scratch Thai-inspired green curry glaze to a grilled ground chuck patty. I almost said ground round. Big difference. With pancetta fat. I mean, wow. Sounds great. That was called the 7 Train Caramelized Green Berry Burger. And again, that will net you a nice, clean $100,000 for the best burger. Build a better burger, ladies and gentlemen. Why not? That's what I always say. Build a better burger. If you build it, they will come. All right, Patrick Martin coming up here out of the break. We do have 2 giveaways as well, so stay tuned. Get those fat fingers ready. Love to win stuff. I know you do. I love to win stuff. Who doesn't? All right, let me talk to you quickly about a brand new sponsor of the show. Guys, the show is synonymous with technology. This one doesn't appoint. Let's welcome iGrill to the partnership stable. iGrill is a Bluetooth-enabled cooking thermometer that pairs with your Apple or Android device using the free iGrill Pro app, which can be downloaded in the iTunes Store or the Google Play Store, depending on what operating system you have. The Bluetooth range is up to 200 feet, so you can monitor your food from practically anywhere in the house. Gives you the free time to do what you want to do with the assurance that your food is being cooked perfectly. Go watch the game, have a beer, have 4. Mow the lawn. iGrill's got your food covered. The iGrill dual probe capability, so you can monitor 2 different pieces of meat at once. You can also measure the ambient pit temperature of your smoker using the iGrill ambient temperature probe that can be purchased at iGrill Inc., like the letter I, grillinc.com. If you use promo code SMOKE, you'll get a free ambient probe with your iGrill purchase. Just put both into your shopping cart and enter the code SMOKE at checkout. Now, within the app, you can set minimum and maximum temperature settings. If your grill or smoker gets too hot or too cool, your smart device will alert you. The free iGrill app for iOS has Facebook integration, so you can upload pictures of what you're cooking right to the iGrill Facebook page. The app also has global features that show you and all of your other friends and iGrillers from around the world what everybody else is cooking. You can also use the graph to monitor the speed of which your temperature is rising. So, geeks, relate. Buy now. $80 MSRP. Actually, $79.99. Available at Grill Inc., iGrill Inc., Apple, Best Buy, AT&T stores, Verizon stores, and Amazon.com. iGrill was launched at Apple stores in 2010 and has since some incredible press, including a celebrity shout-out from Mark Zuckerberg. He founded Facebook if you need it. Accessories are available at iGrillInc.com. So, everything you need is all in one place. And again, the website, Grill Inc., iGrillInc.com, a proud new sponsor, and I am happy to have them. $80, come on. Two things at once? I'm down. iGrillInc.com. We're back with Patrick Martin right after this. Stick around, be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
We are back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com.
I love it when it goes like...
John Dawson weighing in saying he's watching me over 4G on his Droid. John Mansgate. All right, my first guest owns the very popular Martin's Barbecue joint. If you are in Nolensville, Tennessee, and you have a hankering for some real pit barbecue, you don't want to miss this place. Let's head over the hotline. A guy I've been looking to talk barbecue with for some time now. Let's welcome in Patrick Martin to the show. Patrick, how are you, buddy?
I'm all right, man. How you doing? Thanks for having me on.
Oh, I'm absolutely doing... Man, I'll tell you, I don't know where it is down there temperature-wise. It is the breath of hell up in here, Seatown.
Where are you at?
Cleveland.
Oh, really? Well, it's that's air conditioning for us, man.
Oh, I'm telling you,
it's that hot. It's that hot 10 months out of the year down here, brother.
87 at 9 o'clock at night is a little too sticky for my comfort, but nevertheless, lots to get to tonight, Patrick. And I guess before we get into the restaurant and all that stuff, maybe a little background about yourself and kind of how you got into barbecue prior to the business.
Well, I had at an early age, my dad and my grandfathers and all that weren't barbecue guys, but they grilled a lot, and they were very specific about it. We never owned a gas grill, we never had any lighter fluid, and my friends' dads would they would get gas grills, and I looked at my dad, and I'll never forget one time I was like, Dad, Bill Long's dad just got a gas grill. Why are we? He had the charcoal chimney and all that, and so why don't we just get a gas grill? And I was probably about 14, and he was like, because we do it this way. And it just resonated. And so I bought my first grilling book when I was, I think, probably in the 9th grade, so that would be 86. And it was Chris Schlesinger's and Doc Willoughby's book called The Thrill of the Grill.
Yep.
And I wanted to try to grill everything in that book and learn as much. I was just, enamored by it. And in there, Chris is from Virginia, and in there he talks a little bit about barbecue, and his dad would cook whole hogs and stuff. And we're from Northeast Mississippi, and I went up to a little school about 45 minutes north. We're about 5 miles from the Tennessee line, and to try to walk on to play basketball. I wasn't good enough for a scholarship, but the coach at least said, hey, I'd love to look at you, come on up. And so I went up there, and I wasn't good enough. But unbeknownst to me, West Tennessee and I'm not talking about Memphis. I'm talking about basically from the Shelby County line to almost to Nashville, is known for whole hog barbecue. And I spent 4 years, man, just hanging around those pits and never really worked and got a paycheck, but I would go down there and study with those old pit masters and stay up all night with them. And I was a finance econ guy, and my dad was a government bond trader, and I just had it in my mind I was going to go trade bonds and make a lot of money one day. When I turned about 50, I was going to go open up a restaurant or, do something, and didn't quite turn out that way. I just kept cooking, and I did go and trade bonds and took that career, but, I got into barbecue a little bit sooner rather than I had planned, a little bit different path.
I guess at what point did you decide to verge from the bonds and stuff and get into the barbecue business full time?
Well, I had I'd gotten married, and it was 5 years. We were young, and I got her pregnant actually, and she had a miscarriage a couple weeks before we got married, and we went ahead and got married anyway. It's one of those classic stories. We'd already gotten gifts and didn't want to send the gifts back and all that stuff. And so she was a songwriter, and we had moved to Charlotte I'd gone to work at Nations Bank, and she was a songwriter with Sony Tree, and so we were constantly trying to get back to Nashville. And I loved Nashville, loved it. And so we finally got back, and I went to work with a couple other firms, one in Memphis and then finally in Nashville. And then we got divorced. She traded me in, and I didn't want to leave Nashville. So I didn't work for a couple months, and then I started landscaping and doing grade work, like finished grade work for new homes. And about 5 years later, man, the money was good. It wasn't awesome, but it was actually pretty good. And I didn't hate it. I just didn't love it. And I was cooking this whole time, and and not just barbecuing. I mean, really trying to, one of those guys. I wish I'd gone to culinary school and knew at least the classic techniques, of cooking. So I was trying to. That was my hobby. And I was just one of those guys, I'd cook. I was always the guy who cooked for my friends. It's all, everybody, everybody does that, who's in our world, as a hobbyist. And I was the dumbass that actually took everybody's advice and went out, and they were like, man, you should open up a barbecue place, and slapped me on the back. And, I'm the guy that actually went out there and did it. And one morning, my guys flipped a trailer with a Bobcat, some equipment on it. And I had since gotten remarried, and I had an 8-month-old son. I met with the insurance adjuster, and I was done with him by 10:30. And I went down to this little Mexican place in a little town close to where I lived, which is actually Nolensville. And it was about 10 after 11, and all the chairs were still on the tables. The place hadn't been opened up, and it's above a mechanic shop. I went down to the mechanic. I was like, man, are these dudes opening up? Well, what are they doing? He's like, well, they're 3 months behind on their rent, and we evicted them, and so they're not going to open up. And I was like, well, what are you going to do? And he was like, well, we're going to find another restaurant. And I was like, man, I'll take it. I cook barbecue, and I'll do it. And it happened literally just like that. And I remember wishing he would hurry up and shut up so I would leave, because I was afraid I was going to change my mind. But it was one of those things where I think emotionally I needed to jump off the diving board, and that day I did. No doubt.
Isn't there, one of 758 million different professions that you could have jumped off the diving board with? Because when you look at restaurants, barbecue, Mexican, you name it, they have to be one of the most loser businesses in the first, month to a year. That's a huge gamble to take, given your station.
They are, and I was in a spot, and I don't mean this to be funny, but I really didn't care. I was in a spot where I was like, this is what I want to do, and I got a ton of friends, man, who specifically who are in the competition world, who I'm not the model you want to go by. A lot of people ask me the same thing, and I didn't pick the restaurant business; it picked me, and that's the way it happens with a lot of people. I mean, it was what I wanted to do, and I got a lot of real close friends in the competition world who think about opening restaurants a lot, and what you have to think about is that your barbecue can be the best around. It can be unbelievable. But if you don't know how to operate a restaurant and run a business, it doesn't matter how good your barbecue is. And fortunately for me, I had opened up in a town that only had about 3,000 people in it, and I was just far enough away from Metro Nashville that it took everybody about a year to find out about me. And so it gave me a year to really learn how to operate a restaurant, and even still, almost 7 years later, I'm still learning every day a lot. But if I had gone and opened up in Nashville, I would have been out of business in 3 months because I just didn't know what I was doing at all. I knew how to cook barbecue, and I had made up my mind I was going to do it the old way. I was like, I'm not going to have a freezer. I'm not going to have a microwave. I'm going to try to run out. And I just really didn't care, man. I was in a good way, in a calming way, a confident way, and this is how I'm going to do it. If it doesn't work out, then I'm going to find something else to do in life and say I did it,
Patrick Martin joining us here on the show. MartinsBBQJoint.com if you want to check out the website while we're talking here. Patrick, are there maybe 2 or 3 big pitfalls that you ran into that perhaps you didn't account for, or did you even account for anything and you were just kind of taking blow by blow?
Oh, dude, it was blow by blow. I'd never been in the restaurant business. I mean, there's no way I could keep it at 2 or 3. It was like 2,000 or 3,000 pitfalls.
Was cooking? Was cooking the barbecue the easiest part of the whole deal then?
Easily the easiest part. Easily dealing with staff, dealing with customers who either complain or and that's not the norm, by the way. Most I would say 95% of customers are really good, genuine people who just want a good meal for the money they're paying. But there's a lot of things, like I got a buddy who just opened up a restaurant, a barbecue joint in Nashville, and I told him, man, I was like, I can sit here and tell you what to do, but I'm not going to do that, but I will tell you what not to do. And I pissed away a lot of money, man, because I didn't know what I was doing. And the biggest advice I give people now, especially like I was talking about my competition friends, is you need to go work in a restaurant, and specifically a restaurant with systems, which usually means a chain. Because working for a mom and pop, they're not the best operators. The people who have it down, and I mean literally like a McDonald's, you need to figure out how to run your restaurant with systems, but not give up your quality, your control, and your standards of how you want barbecue to be served. And it just so happens for me, I didn't want a freezer or microwave, and I was going to cook it, and I was going to manage my food costs by trying to run out every day. And if people got pissed, I theorized, and I think I didn't know, but I theorized that they would eventually say, well, if they ran out, it must be pretty good, I'll come back.
Sure.
Or they'll eventually get over it and come back. But
right.
So many pitfalls, Greg. I could go over some with you, but it's literally, we could spend a month talking about pitfalls.
Patrick Martin joining me here on the show. Patrick, I looked over the menu that you have, and I have to say, I like the fact that you don't have 75 million items on it. A great selection to be sure, but sometimes I feel that barbecue restaurants go way too far in the ancillary stuff and lose focus on the bread and butter, which is barbecue, because all of these other things that are on the menu they got to keep track of. Did you start out that way, or did you pare down over time?
No, my menu really has not changed one bit at all since I've opened. I added a catfish po' boy on there, and I'm trying to think if there's one other thing, but it's literally the same menu for the most part. I think what people do is they overthink it, and they get in a place where they've got to find a point of difference because they're in a competitive market, and so they start really getting away from what they know, and they try to get a little too creative sometimes, especially guys that have like a chef background. There's some things that work out really well, and I mean some menu items, but there are some things where, in my opinion, I think execution of the basics far outweighs, how many different menu dishes you can come up with and quirky dishes you can do. Making sure that pork is perfect every time on a sandwich or a plate, to me, is far more valuable than figuring out what are 5 ways that I can serve this pork that nobody else is doing. Because I think people really just want to come in. Barbecue's never not going to be comfort food. So let's just start there, what it is.
Right.
And I think a lot of people come in, owners, and starting a place, and they've got to find their point of difference. And the point of difference to me, staring you right in the face, the fact is there's not a lot of people out there that are doing it well. And it's not that they can't do it well. It's because they've settled on standards that are lower than the real excellent ones are, and serving reheated food or anything like that, because they're worried about their food costs. That's just my opinion. I mean, there's different opinions out there on that, I'm sure, but I just think execution is how you really succeed at it.
All right, so let me ask you something. You recently did an interview for Today.com in their food section. The article was talking about a new generation of pitmaster and a new generation of barbecue consumer, one who wants good barbecue cheap. And you were quoted in the article as saying that $5.50 for a pulled pork sandwich isn't enough, and you'll have to look at possibly raising prices in the upcoming year. Is $5.50 really a lot to your clientele if they know the quality is there and the labor that goes into this? I mean, wouldn't they be happy to pay another $3, $4 more for a sandwich?
It is in the South, and I'll tell you, in my opinion, why. In 20 years ago, before competition barbecue came on, the barbecue was really the 5 major regions that we always talk about: Kansas City, Texas, the Carolinas, Memphis, blah, blah, blah. It was really a regional product. And when people came down, or they could get ribs, outside of ribs, but, pulled pork and brisket was, let's face it, in 1980, it wasn't spread all over Wisconsin and Minnesota and Connecticut and all that, right? So what's happened is our generation grew up in the South there were so many supply and demand. There were so many barbecue restaurants, and barbecue has always been on that level of a cheaper food, no matter the fact that it's the most labor-intensive thing you can do.
Oh, for sure.
Right?
Yep.
And so what's happened is now barbecue has spread all over the country, much thanks to competition barbecue, which is, put it in people's faces. And now people across the country realize, hey, I can do this, and I can do it really well. And they happen to be in markets that can charge more than, say, traditionally you have been able to do in the South. Now, that's changed in the South, in Atlanta and Nashville, and especially with the chef-driven menus that have happened over the past 15 to 20 years. That's definitely changed. But the point I was trying to make is that now that the mentality of price, especially in the South, has not changed. People grew up going and paying $2.50 for a world-class barbecue sandwich, and they don't know that there's another scale of economics out there for it. And nor do people, as we all know, those of us who have sat up all night, checking our smokers and all that, they especially don't know how much work you put into it. Now, you can tell them, but until they've done it, they have no idea. Well, in a restaurant, you're doing that, 360-odd days a year. And I guess the point where I'm going with it is that I got guys who are down here opening up these burger shops who are, getting $9-10 for a burger,
yep.
And we're over here cooking a shoulder for 22 hours. And I have people that balk and tell me that I've gotten too big for my britches when I charge $5.50 for a sandwich. Now, there's just something wrong with that to me. And so I'm not going to go out and I'm not going out to just shock people, but what I would like to see us do in the culture of barbecue is get what we deserve for it, and I don't mean charge too much. I don't think we should ever get to a point where we're charging $10 or $12 for a barbecue sandwich, or even 15 like some burger places are. But man, dadgum, I mean, $7.50 for a sandwich with 5 ounces of meat somebody's poured his heart and sweat and blood into. It doesn't seem too much to ask for me.
No, absolutely not. I was, it has not very similar, but I was doing a fundraiser for my daughter's fast pitch team because that's very expensive. And I cooked a couple pork butts, and I was charging $5 per sandwich. It wasn't, the Lloyd stuff that comes out of the plastic container that you heat in the microwave. I mean, this was really good stuff. And I was charging $5 a sandwich, and people were initially turning away until I said, here, take a bite. And then once they tasted it, they were happy to shuck out $5. They were happy to tell everybody they were sitting around. But you're right. I mean, initially there was a little bit of a sticker shock versus the $1 hot dog.
Yeah, it's just a stigma, man, and they're going to. The $1 hot dog is a good example, and it's, to me, I think it's going to be almost a generational change. It'll take that long for people to realize that, there's cheap food that we just do for sustenance, and that Lloyd's in a bag is just sustenance, and and then there's real barbecue, and we've got a couple places in Nashville that I would consider that are not up to standard for me. And that's okay. If you've got 4 different sectors of the restaurant business, fast food, fast casual, which is what I'm in, full service, and then fine dining or chef driven.
Right.
Well, fast casual is a hybrid of fast food and full service, and the price point's a hybrid of it as well. So you've got some people who cook at a commissary, in the fast food area, and or only cook once a week and then reheat their food until they've exhausted it and then cook again as they need it, and put a little water in there and steam it and reheat it and get $2.25 a sandwich. We get people a lot to call and say, "I've got a wedding, I've got this budget and I've got $600 to spend." And I just tell them, like, if you're that budget minded, then we're probably not your guy. If you want real quality, then I can give you that. And that's just a fact. It's not I'm better than somebody else. And it's just that some people don't put the time in it, especially somebody who's got like an electric cooker or something like that. They don't put the time in it that we would as a hobbyist or a competition cook or somebody like me who's got my standards where I am at my restaurant level. And they, folks just, they don't understand. They're like, well, so-and-so charges $2.25, you're at $5.50. And I'm like, yeah, and it's tough for me to explain on the phone why that is. So I just say, hey, man, this is where we're at, and hope you come in. I'd love to give you, I'll feed you on me, let you try my food, but this is where my price is, and I'm sorry. I hope everything can work out, but if not, that's fine. That's cool. Don't worry about it. So I think it's going to be a generation before people start understanding that, and people like me start charging a little bit more for their product, and they're on the higher side, and people just become accustomed to it after time.
Absolutely. Patrick Martin joining me here on the show. He is the owner of Martin's BBQ Joint, and you can find that at martinsbbqjoint.com. Patrick, we could talk for hours here, but we'll have to do it again another time. Appreciate you coming out tonight, breaking it all down for us. We'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks, Greg.
You got it. There he is. Patrick Martin. martinsbbqjoint.com. A little long, but man, chock full of information. I remember when he was just starting out, like I'm going to start the restaurant. I was like, crazy, man. Look at him now. Success. All right, martinsbbqjoint.com. All right. Not one new sponsor tonight. How about 2 new sponsors? Let's welcome second new sponsor of the show, R&O Smokers. A custom pit builder combining innovation and art in each of their cutting-edge, offset, and vault-style barbecue pits. Located in the heart of Texas near Fort Worth, Granbury has been home to R&O Smokers since its beginnings. R&O Smokers has continued to widen its range using visionary planning, both the design level and the quality of their craftsmanship, to bring their customers the finest custom pits on the market. If you have been looking for custom pits without the hefty price tag and a weight of some other manufacturers on the market, why not make R&O Smokers your first choice to take a look at? Mention you heard about R&O Smokers on the Barbecue Central show and receive an additional discount off the already low price. For more information, follow the link to their Facebook page, which can be found right on the Barbecue Central Show website, thebbqcentralshow.com. Click on the logo at the right or visit the sponsor page or the links page. They will get you that Facebook page, or contact Billy Overton or Tony Belay, respectively, directly via email. Billy, that's Billie, Billy_RO Smokers, plural, at yahoo.com, or Tony, Tony, _RO Smokers at yahoo.com. Don't forget to check out their Facebook page regularly for weekly drawings and giveaways from their barbecue partners as well. And if you're any fan of the competition scene, I mean, there's a lot of great pits out there. RO Smokers rapidly become one of the most popular ones out there. For instance, Mike Davis uses one. He won in South Carolina this past weekend. Also, Joe Beelan from Tippy Canoe Barbecue won the Sam's Local. He cooks on a RO as well. Many others. So check it out. RN, like the letter N, RNOsmokers.com, or again, visit their Facebook page, which you can find right on my main page website, the logo, sponsors page, or the links page. All right, we're back with Lene Oxley right after this. Stick around, we'll be right back.
On the show. Get in the smoke. On the show. Ready to give stuff away. Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air.
Let's all just reset here just for a sec.
Get in the smoke. Call 8.
And let's reset yet again. All right. Get in the smoke. Get in the smoke.
On the show. Ready to give stuff away for no money. That's why it's free of charge. You can win stuff and I'll give it away for free.
All right, your chance to win tonight. A $10 gift certificate from the Barbecue Superstore. Richard Parker and the gang over there. TheBBQSuperstore.com. TheBBQSuperstore.com. A $10 gift card. All you have to do is send me an email in the subject line. Black-rimmed glasses. Black-rimmed glasses. And you can win a $10 gift certificate, courtesy of the BBQ Superstore. Good luck.
Get in the smoke. Call 877-448-0433 to get on the air. Now, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
Big B, Moonshine Band, Suburban Noise Records. Let's go! I'm an outlaw. Give me 2 shots. We don't need a radio. Bring a jukebox for my outlaws. Bring me 3 shots. We can raise hell before the speed stops. I'm a whiskey drinking SOB. If you don't like that, then you won't like me. I'm an outlaw. I said I'm an outlaw.
All right, we are back. Thanks again to Patrick Martin for joining me. Patrick's website, by the way, martinsbbqjoint.com. martinsbbqjoint.com. 877-448-0433. You can also email the show if you want to. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Those are the 2 ways to get in touch with. Lots of great info from Patrick, by the way. All right, who wins tonight? Ryan Beeler wins. So, Ryan, you do not need to send me anything because this is an email contest, so I will forward your email over to Richard Parker, and he will go ahead and take care of you from there. So congratulations for, look at the backyard. Somebody said backyard. I got the word. What is that? Black rim glasses. No. All a little late. Ryan Beeler, you win. So just sit tight, and Richard Parker will be in touch with you at some point. Once I forward your email, that'll be after the show, of course. And then you can redeem $10 gift card over at thebbqsuperstore.com. What could be better than that? Nothing. Come on. All right. Uh-oh. I'm getting a voicemail in my ear. Wondering, should I leave a message? Yeah, why not? Leave a message. Hey, Lene, Greg Rempe, Barbecue Central Show. Hi. This is the time frame. This is 9:35. Hold on. Could be getting her here in just a second. I'm going to my smartphone. Maybe she got called out on hot barbecue patrol. I'm here. I'm calling. All right, hold on. I'm calling. Let's try this. 220-09. If I'm getting an email. Oh, wait. Sorry. I left the longest voicemail in history right there, ladies and gentlemen. We'll give it another try here. Maybe she can call in. No? Wow. Maybe there's some bad cellular signals going on over on the West Coast. Yep. Okay, everybody can stop sending in the... Funny. All right, here she's coming in now. We'll get this interview in one way or another. All right. Joining me now, the pitmaster who is advancing on to the next round on the current season of Barbecue Pitmasters on the strength of her win in the qualifying show, which was a week ago this past Sunday. She runs a very successful barbecue catering company and competition team. Let's race over to the hotline and welcome in first-timer to the show, pitmaster of Sugar's Barbecue, Lene Oxley. Lene, how are you?
I'm doing great. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can hear you finally. Sorry about last week.
Hey, I thought we were about ready to have a replay.
Yeah. Well, I was waiting for my phone to ring, and it looked like there was a couple of numbers that were blocked. So who knows? But we're on the air now, and I appreciate you having me on, Greg. Thank you.
Absolutely. All right, so we'll recap the show here in just a second, Lene. But for the folks, I guess, who aren't familiar with you, maybe a little background on you and how you got into the barbecue scene.
Well, I've been competing since 2006. A neighbor of mine had a big barbecue pit sitting in his front lawn, and I would pass it on the way to work every day, and just fascinated by it. And I'm coming from a culinary background, doing a lot of grilling in a restaurant setting, but not in terms of live fire wood-fired barbecue. And so one day he was out there in the morning cleaning his pit. I introduced myself. And he invited me for dinner that evening. Came back from work, had dinner, had some amazing ribs and chicken that he had cooked. We were friends ever since. I helped him at a contest, and the next weekend, and I was hooked ever since. And wow. This was in 2006. So it was really, really cool.
So you're 7 seasons in at this point. I assume that you have been a fan of the Barbecue Pitmaster show in past seasons, or did you just recently saw it and decided you would like to try out for that?
Yeah, I've been a fan actually since its inception, looking at the original show where it was just following, some of the main pitmasters around Harry Sue and Leanne Whippen and the whole gang. And, in fact, I was actually at the American Royal when they were filming Leanne Whippen's show. She was actually sitting set up right across from us, and it was kind of fun to see the crew. And, obviously, it's changed shape. It's taken different forms over the seasons, and it's done some really outrageous things with barbecue. And, I got a call last season, just wasn't able to get an audition tape in, but was able to do it this year. I think I was ready mentally. I thought my barbecue was good enough to get on the air, and me and my friend Corey Sherman from Rockin' the Smoke, she's a local team here in the Portland area, we joined forces and decided to put an audition tape and got in, and it was just really amazing. And she's an amazing cook. I could not think of a better partner to be in this venture with. It's just incredible adventure.
Was the audition tape more of a formality at this point since they wanted you last year, or did you really have to, go over the top to get selected this year?
Well, it wasn't that they really wanted me per se. They were just sort of, I think they wanted somebody from the Pacific Northwest. They had heard about me somehow, and they were kind of prompting me, hey, Lene, let's get us an audition tape, something. so we can look at it and see if you can make a grade and get on the air. And so it was really, I think I got maybe a week to put it together last year. I just couldn't do it. But I think everything is meant to happen, and it was meant to happen this year. And, Corey and I put this 7-minute audition tape filmed on our iPad, and it was just a lot of fun. We were just goofing off. It wasn't about us, spouting about how good we are or whatever. We were just goofing off and pretty much unscripted, and it was just a dream come true. They called and they asked me if I wanted to be on TV, and I was screaming. I thought it was just awesome. I mean, it's good for barbecue in the Northwest, good for my own business with Sugar's Barbecue here in Portland, and just a chance to just be a part of barbecue and in a different way. I'm a competitor. I try to compete as much as I can, mainly around the Pacific Northwest area, in the Vancouver, Canada area, Washington, Oregon, and thereabouts, and not able to get into the main national circuit. But this was just a really interesting way of trying to meet people, get to different places, and see how my barbecue would fare up against some of the best in the country, albeit in a very unique setting. And some people like it and some people don't. So very, very cool opportunity.
So total no-brainer when they came back and asked you to be on the show, regardless of what you had going on personally or professionally. This was, you were all in right from Jump Street.
100%, absolutely. I went to my employer, my boss, and said, hey, this is it. And he knows that barbecue's a dream for me. He totally supports it. I've been with the company I work for 12 and a half years, my day job. And so, he's like, yep, take all the time off you need. We'll be here to support you. And it was just go from that end. And then it was just day and night obsessing about every aspect of it, planning the trip, where we're going to stay, what they could give us to cook, where we were going to be, who we were going to be up against, et cetera, and trying to do as much homework as I could. Basically treating it like a regular competition, like I research regular competitions and go up against my competition. And only this was just, there were a lot of unknown variables. And so there was a lot of unanswered questions, but we tried to be as prepared as we could. And going into that show, we were as prepared as we could be, not knowing exactly what we were going to cook at all.
Linnea Oxley joining me here on the show. Sugar's, plural, Sugar's Barbecue, BARBECUE.com if you want to check it out while we're talking. You had to cook turkey legs and brisket points. You seemed pretty confident when you initially saw them in the cooler and then appeared just as cool through the cooking process. Was that pretty accurate in the filming of this whole deal, or were there some nerves that really didn't get shown in that final product that we saw on television?
I'll be honest with you, no. Going up to it, you're a little bit, I think I was more nervous about wanting to do better, wanting to do well and represent Sugar's really well and the Pacific Northwest really well, rather than having cameras and microphones stuck in my face. That didn't bother me at all. In fact, I kind of sort of liked it in a way, kind of in a sort of remote, sick, egotistical way. But I think that it was, I'm a level-headed player. I'm very serious about what I do. I take it very seriously, no matter what it is, whether it's, obviously we got turkey legs and brisket points. I opened that cooler up and it was just like, oh, this is just game on. This is great. It's not going to be easy. I don't take anything to chance. But and these two competitors are top notch. I went up against Danny Kugel, wonderful guy. Has been competing longer than me, and I believe. And then the Lula's boys, and great guys. They're wonderful. I never competed against these guys ever. I know they're great, but this was about serious business. And if they wanted to record me during that time, then that's what it was all about. And it was awesome. From the get-go, it's a long day. I was exhausted, mentally exhausted, very serious, physically exhausted. I hadn't eaten all day. It was very, very cold. We were all shivering. This episode was filmed in mid-April, in Osage City, Kansas, in the spring. A huge event, drawing a lot of people, and I was exhausted, and I think that kind of showed towards the latter part of the show when I started breaking down, but we can talk about that in a second.
You seem to have locked in both categories when we're watching the judges, like in the pit, they required burn ends. You and Danny go pulled, sliced, and ends. Lulu goes just ends. Was there no doubt that you were going to go, I guess what you would call above and beyond from the jump, or did you have some hesitation that if you didn't hit all of the things that you turned in, you were actually kind of handicapping yourself in the end?
Well, I treated it just like a regular competition, and I'm not going to put, and I tell this with a lot of people that I talk to, I will not put anything in that box that I can't stand behind. Corey and I came together on this. We cooked together. We tasted everything that went in that box. I wanted to, first and foremost, I wanted us to show skill. We had this great brisket point. We got a couple of them to cook. There was no, I mean, we had to turn in burn ends, if anything, and just like some of the judges had said, I believe Myron had echoed it. You know, doing something else besides what we require can be risky. It can count against you, and that's the same with regular barbecue competitions. It's you know, whether you're turning in pork or brisket. You know, if the slices work and the burn ends don't, and you've turned in burn ends, that can count against you. And I think all of us have fallen victim to that. But you know, everything hit on the mark. I mean, the box wasn't as pretty as I wanted it to be. I wanted it to be a little bit more, you know, put together and a little more segmented, but we ran it down to the last second, and we just like threw that stuff in the box, made it look decent. Everything hit on the money, and we were proud about that. And, you know, obviously the turkey legs you really couldn't do anything with, but the brisket I wanted to slice and do some chopped, and then obviously the burn ends that they required. So if it's not good, I'm not gonna put it in the box. No way.
Linnea Oxley joining us here on the show, talking about her recent win on Barbecue Pitmasters, advancing into the next round. Was winning this episode made even sweeter because Melissa Cookson was on the panel? You know, there have been some great women pitmasters that have come before, you know, both you and her to be sure, but Melissa's really stepped it up, not only for women, but for men in the competition scene as well. How did you feel about her being on that panel?
You know, Melissa's an idol of mine. I mean, I love her. She's great. I've been following her for a while. Obviously, that woman can cook. She's proved herself on the circuit in many times. And, you know, we didn't know who the judge was going to be. I mean, that was sort of the mystery third judge. We knew Myron and Tuffy were going to be there, but we didn't know if it was going to be Danielle Domofsky or, you know, William Bubba Latimer, or it was going to be, you know, Chris Lilly, anybody, Paul Kirk. Who knew who it was going to be? And they kept it a secret from us. And then we found out on the day that we filmed, and I was just blown away. And that just made me cook a little bit better, a little harder, because first of all, I'm very proud to have her eat my food one-on-one, and as someone who I look up to, and it just blew me away. The fact that she liked my food was just, that was icing on the cake. I couldn't have asked for a better result, but I wanted to cook the best I could for her, and because I respect her, I look up to her, and we had a chance to chat a little bit afterwards, and it was really cool. It was like sort of this rock star moment for me. And she's a great woman, a good friend. I mean, she's great with information. So it was a very proud moment. Obviously, being a woman at barbecue and having her, you know, being a female, very successful female barbecuer was great. But I stand behind what I said on the show, was that I don't care, man, woman, or whatever. I'm gonna try to cook against you, and I'm gonna try to beat you. It doesn't matter. The fact that I'm a woman in barbecue, and there are a lot of other amazing women in barbecue that are up and coming and everything, I think that's awesome. I mean, we're going to see more and more and more of that every season.
You know, so obviously the show has been taped through its conclusion. You move on to the next round. Is there any insight that you can give us here before I let you go tonight that about your potential moving ons or anything, or do we just have to tune in and see how it goes?
Yeah, I can't really say anything about the show itself, other than obviously everyone knows I've made the semifinals. This one was filmed in Chicago, at least outside of Chicago, Memorial Day weekend. So I'm looking. I mean, I can't wait to see what they show. I mean, everyone sees it at the same time I do, and it was interesting the way that they edited it up. And what they included, what they didn't include. There were a lot of things that happened at Osage City that never made the final cut, or at least that I saw, and it was very surprising because we all thought that it would be on there, but at the same time, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing the show and seeing what they come up with, and it's very exciting. I've been telling people, if you thought the first show was exciting, this is going to be even more.
Excellent. Linnea Oxley is the pitmaster of Sugar's Barbecue and Catering. Linnea, I really appreciate you making the return trip tonight and kind of breaking the show down for us. We'll tune in to see how it goes. You know, if you win, maybe we can have you back on to kind of recap that one as well.
Absolutely, and everyone's asking me when it's going to air. I'm not sure. I believe at least my episode, just keep watching the episodes, but I think that particular one is going to air, I believe, the second Sunday in August, I believe. So I'm not quite sure. But just keep watching. And Greg, I'm a huge fan of your show and have been listening to a lot for a long time. So I appreciate you having me on. And sorry about last week. I kind of I blew the goose on that one. I apologize.
No problem. My pleasure, and I really appreciate you coming out tonight, Lenny. I appreciate it.
Thank you so much, Greg. Have a good night.
You got it. You too. There she is, Lene Oxley, Sugar's Barbecue. Could I say appreciate it 700 times in a row? Is that possible?
Big stuff out of here.
Obviously, it's possible because I just did it. Good English, idiot. My apologies. So get into the damn picture the right way. All right, folks, let me talk to you about the Barbecue Guru, a breakthrough in barbecue technology, the creators of automatic pit temperature control technology. If you're a busy working professional, if you're constantly on the run with kids, you're doing errands, you don't have time to temp pit temperature controls, I understand. You have a bunch of different models to choose from, including the CyberQ Wi-Fi, the CyberQ 2, the DigiQ DX2, and the newest unit, the PartyQ. It starts at $129 for most cookers. The PartyQ, easiest point of entry for your pit temperature control device needs. It's a self-contained package, runs on AA batteries. Don't forget the Onyx oven as well. If you're looking for a cooker, it fits everything you're going to need. Do yourself a favor. Head on over to thebbqguru.com or call 800-288-GURU. That's 800-288-GURU or thebbqguru.com. The Barbecue Guru, a breakthrough in barbecue technology. We're wrapping up the first hour right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are quickly back. How quickly? Very quickly. This will be about a 15-second segment. Thanks to Lene Oxley for joining me, breaking down the win that she had a couple weeks ago. It wasn't this past Sunday, but the Sunday before. She moves on to the regional round, or the semifinal round. Always have to relay things to Sam's Club now. Still getting a lot of questions on the glasses. Just relax. Just have a little fun tonight. Just having a little fun. Hey, everybody. Everybody watching the All-Star game, I heard Robbie Cano took one on the head. Beamed in the melon. It was fantastic. Reminded me of Rod Say back in the 70s. I'm just kidding. We're coming back in the second hour with Daniel Vaughn and Scott Roberts. So, make a libation, come back, and meet me at the top of the hour. See you then.
From my heart and from my hand, why don't people understand my intention?
Happy to have you aboard here for the Really Big Barbecue Show.
We cook because we have to, and we grill because we want to.
Fine, how's it going?
You have a great show. I'm a big fan. So what seems to be the problem here? This man looks like he's dead, and he's in the crackle.
Charbono! It's all about the Charbono, dude!
Succulent fish. What?
He ate 54 wieners.
But listen, Lavernius, shake a face.
I'm shaking like a dog shit peach seeds.
We have top men working on it right now. Who? Top men.
All right, just like that, we are into the second hour. Boom. Check this email out real quick. From Brandon Richardella. Sugars was filmed at the Westmont Red, White, and Blue in Illinois, and... Oh, wait a second. Wait a second. Brandon. Are you trying to play spoiler? Easy, buddy. Brandon also really big on backyard cooking. I am not on board with the backyard stuff. I didn't know that there... I mean, like, I knew there was backyard stuff, but I didn't know, like, how serious it was or, you know, where you find any information on backyard stuff. He said the The Brethren is a good resource for that. I was on The Brethren today. I researched, there was a lot of the KCBS events. I didn't really see anything on the backyard stuff. But hey, this show was not just always barbecue. It's not, it's about barbecue most of the time, but not all the time. I would love to start covering a little bit more of the backyard stuff. So, if anybody out there is a backyard knowledgeable person that has results or knows where the big events are going to be or whatever, I just don't know about that stuff. I'm like the national syndication show, and, all the other stuff kind of falls off to your local guys. The Blog Talk Radio stuff, that's going to be like your local sports guy on your station, like ESPN Cleveland. And then you have like Mike and Mike or Jim Rome or Howard Stern or somebody. That's the show. This is the national show, okay? All right, still to come tonight, Daniel Vaughn from Full Custom Gospel, the barbecue editor of Texas Monthly. And Scott Roberts will also be joining us at 10:35 on the show next week. The host of Barbecue Crawl, Danielle Domofsky, joins us. Anybody seeing this show? Barbecue Crawl. Also, editor-in-chief of Tailgater Monthly, Lee Hurley, slated to join us as well. I was in the most recent edition of Tailgater Monthly. Maybe you saw it. You know what I'm talking about? Oh, dude. My G5 mechanic is checking in. Scotty, what's up? Scotty Walton in C-Bus. Get that thing gassed up, buddy. I'm taking it out tomorrow. We've got to make some calls to top men in various places across the country. So if you get Tailgater Monthly, you will see me there in print. Also, you can just subscribe electronically, which I believe is for free. Go to page 21 or 22 and read the expose that they did on me. Oh, it's a fascinating read. Went to Cedar Point yesterday. If you're not friends with me on the Facebook, let me show you this picture. We were on the Magnum XL 200. Let me give you a little spec on this. The track length is 5,100 feet. It'll take you up 205. It'll bring you down 195 at 60 degrees. And it will bring you to a top speed of 72 miles an hour, completing 5,100 feet in 2 minutes. This was built in 1989. Now, I actually lived here when the Magnum XL 200 was originally built. And right before you go into the, near the end, there's a couple tunnels. The second tunnel, high-speed camera action. So this can spend your money. This is me. You can see me. There's my daughter with the pink shirt on, and then her friend, which is just directly in front of me, Naomi. Is her face, my daughter's face, not one of the most awesome, classic roller coaster pictures? People think I'm standing up. I'm just, that much taller, and I'm not afraid to put my hands up when we're going 72 miles an hour down a death trap of a roller coaster. Not me. My hands are up, buddy. My hands are up. We are full bore. That was fun. I never get those pictures, but that picture was just too good to pass up. It's too good. All right, the Sam's Club Series rolled into Woodbury, Minnesota this past weekend. This feeds into that Rockford, Illinois regional that will take place in just like 3 weeks' time, I believe, August 3rd. The top 6 teams moving on to the regional finals are as follows, taking grand champion, friend of the show, had a hellacious year before last, Tippy Canoe Barbecue, Joe Beeler. 684.5 and change takes it. Hey, look at this runner-up guy. He's an Iowa guy. Pigskin. Scott Nelson, 682.2. And Rollin' Smoke Barbecue takes third place. T-Mac Smokin' fourth. Firefightin' Cookin' Crew takes fifth. And rounding out the top 6 moving into Rockford, a J-Star Barbecue. So you're looking at roughly an 11-point difference from 1 to 6. So pretty close. They were originally very close from top to 6, and then they were starting to widen out over the last number of weeks. So Joe Beeland, Scott Nelson, both friends of the show, rolling on to the regional round. And don't forget, way back, like in January or February, I did a interview on the KCBS Bull Sheet with Troy Black, who is the Sam's Club host or the director of Sam's Club. And I said the winner of Sam's Club will be coming out of the Rockford, Illinois regional. So I believe I'm still feeling pretty good about that pick. just for point of clarification, Troy did not pick anybody because it was like a conflict of interest. I'm the director. I can't pick anybody. All right, so then there's this. So I'm watching this Master Chef show, and my main man, Lin Chi, who was on the show about 4 weeks ago, well, he got eliminated this past Wednesday because he jacked up some dessert elimination challenge in the first hour of the show. Who cares about that? And trust me, in the grand scheme, who cares about that? Can someone please tell me what the F is going on with reality TV cooking shows? And these contestants preparing and then serving raw freaking chicken.
Get that freak stuff out of here.
Newsflash, folks, it's called an instant read thermometer. Spend the $85, buy a Thermapen, please. Or ask me. I will spend the $85. I will give you a Thermapen so you do not have to turn in raw chicken anymore. You know, for the love of all that is holy in the world of food, temp chicken before it hits the table. If you don't want to temp beef, fine. If you don't want to temp ribs, fine. If you don't want to temp fish, fine. Temp the freaking chicken before it hits the table. I've seen it on Hell's Kitchen now. Here it is on Master Chef. There's been a number of shows in between that have served raw chicken. Look, let me be completely transparent here. I am not a chef. I have no desire to be a chef. I have no desire to be on any one of these cooking shows. But if I was, you know, would I bring all my rubs? Would I bring all my spices? Would I bring my super sharp knife that could cut my finger off? Would I bring these super sexy black rim glasses? Yeah, I would. I might also bring my freaking thermometer and know when to temp it to make sure that I might hit my target temperature. But more importantly, to know that I'm not serving raw chicken. To see these judges go up to these plates, especially on this Master Chef show that aired just this past Wednesday, cutting into chicken and seeing it as if it had never been, somehow they were able to just like color the outside white or whatever they were spicing it up with. And then cutting down the center of the chicken, turning it up into the camera. It is as pink as salmon. It is as pink as raw chicken.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
I don't understand. How can you not stick a thermometer in there to make sure? Isn't that just asking to be disqualified? If they were to serve that at a barbecue competition, they would be immediately told, get out. Get out of my barbecue competition, you bastard. But no, they were deep frying it raw. They were sautéing it raw. They were stuffing it raw. I would have taken just a small taint of pink. Taint of pink? What am I talking about? Folks, it's raw chicken. It's on television. They're serving it in food contests on a regular basis. It is an epidemic of seismic and gargantuan proportion, but I do have the answer. It is an instant read me thermometer. It's here. It's technology that has been widely available for any number of years. It is beyond preposterous that people on TV shows are cooking raw chicken. It's raw. I mean, it's not like almost. It's never. Patrick Paquette, I never temp chicken. Why temp it if you cook it over 200 degrees? You son of a bitch. All right, gang, here we go. If you're like me, you're always trying to think of ways to step up that barbecue and grilling game. No better or easier way to do it than by adding a little Butcher barbecue to it. We all know Butcher's well known for the injections, the pork, the beef. Now the Prime injection, of course, Bird Booster as well if you want to inject the bird, which has combined all the things. Well, the Prime injection has combined all the things loved with the beef injection, using its award-winning flavor enhancer, its ability to keep your brisket juicy. Combined it with the competition in beef flavor, the standard in beef flavor, available for sale right now, butcherbbq.com. So is the Bird Booster. The Bird Booster is great. If you want to retain moisture, give yourself a bigger target, holding longer with moisture. How about, brining get you 7%. Bird Booster get you 21%. I'm no mathematical genius, but that's like 758% more with the Bird Booster than if you brine it. Maybe a little less than that. Now, if you're looking for the go-to rubs and sauces, you've hit the mother load here as well. You have the steak and brisket rub, the honey rub. You have the premium rub. Use that especially if you inject with Butchers because it's formulated to work with the injection. The 1-2 punch that we always talk about here on the show to impress judges and friends alike. And, of course, last but not least, the sweet barbecue sauce. Look, when it comes to sauce, I'm as picky as it gets, no doubt about it. But there's no liquid smoke in here. You have a nice slice of tang, just the right amount of back-end heat. For crying out loud, as we've said before, no liquid smoke. Dave took the time and effort to make a quality sauce. Didn't take the easy way out like most do when they add in that liquid smoke. And, of course, we still have that trade-in program going on right now. So if you are less than enthused with a competitor's injection, go to butcherbbq.com, click on the trade-in link, print out the label, ship whatever commercially made injection you have off to Dave. He'll weigh it, and in return, he'll give you the pork, the beef, or the prime injection at your behest. His customers are happy. His competitors' customers are now happy, and you're not wasting money and getting fisticuffs from the wife because you spent money on injections that you don't use. You could have taken around the town. ButcherBBQ.com. That's ButcherBBQ.com. Always trust your butcher. We are back with the number one prophet of smoked meat, Daniel Vaughn, right after this. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. If you want to jump in tonight, don't forget, coming up around 10:35, Scott Roberts reviewing sauces and rubs. My first guest in the second hour used to be an architect and a mere barbecue hobbyist, eating, reviewing, writing about smoked meats for his popular blog, Full Custom Gospel Barbecue. Then this March, hobby turned to profession. He became the country's one and only barbecue editor. His first book, The Prophets of Smoked Meat, A Journey Through Texas Barbecue, was released in May 2013 by ECO, Anthony Bourdain's line of books. Let's race over to the hotline and welcome back a friend of the show, Daniel Vaughn, joining us here. Daniel, how are you, buddy?
How are you?
I'm doing absolutely fantastic.
Great.
Good. I'm doing fantastic as well. Appreciate you making time for the show tonight, Daniel. Before we get into the Texas Monthly stuff and all that great whatnot, for the folks maybe who aren't up to speed on you and how you initially got started, maybe a little background about you and on that FCG website.
Yeah, like you said, I started out as an architect who needed a hobby. So that hobby became eating a lot of barbecue and writing about it. I did most of that on Full Custom Gospel Barbecue. It was great traveling all over the state and learning about barbecue traditions and just learning how the barbecue changed across the state. But I wanted to know more. I really wanted to get to know the state a little bit better and get to know those traditions a lot deeper. So I decided I'd maybe write a book about it. And that took me about 10,000 miles across the state and ate at a couple of hundred barbecue joints for the book. And now I've logged probably, 600 barbecue joint visits across the country and still going strong.
Daniel Vaughn joining us here on the show. If you want to check out TexasMonthly.com/food, you can find a lot of his work right there while we're talking and look at some pictures and read some articles as well. In regards to the Full Custom Gospel website, Daniel, when did you realize you kind of had a hit and a following with that particular effort?
Well, it was probably about a year and a half into writing. I noticed people started using the website as an actual resource of where to go across the state, and started to, actually respect my opinion about it, which surprised me a little bit at the time. But it was really that point that it got me going even more. Really wanted to try more barbecue joints, really wanted to get more reviews out there, and really just wanted to learn more about Texas barbecue. So I really started reading a lot more books on Texas barbecue, reading a lot of other people's reviews on barbecue across the state to try and find some of those hidden gems.
So in March, you get on with Texas Monthly to become the country's first and to date only barbecue editor. How does that deal come to be? I mean, that had to be like a huge deal for you, right?
Yeah, well, one of those things, being able to turn a hobby that becomes a passion and then an obsession. And as my wife said, how are you going to make money off this thing? Well, I finally did. I went all over the state researching the book. And at that point, Texas Monthly decided it might be a good idea to at least use my barbecue knowledge to help on a scouting mission for the Texas Monthly Top 50. So Texas Monthly every year puts out a Top 50 barbecue joints issue. So we partnered up, and actually all the research in the book was an advanced scouting mission for the Texas Monthly Top 50. So I came back from that and gave Texas Monthly some new leads, and then I was going to be part of the tasting team for the 2013 issue. But that was really the extent of our relationship until it was probably October, November of last year. I finally called the editor at Texas Monthly, Jake Silverstein, and said, just if you've never considered this, or if you've ever considered it, I would consider quitting my job as an architect to write about barbecue full time. Just wanted to throw it out there, and he bit.
It's just that easy, right? Just everybody call up your local guy and say, "Hey, I'm willing to quit my job to write about barbecue." Yeah, Dave. I mean, just that easy, right?
Well, there were several months of back and forth, and then I finally realized that they were willing to pay me to do that. But then realized that I'd have all my barbecue paid for and a whole lot of my travel paid for across the state too. So when you added it all up, it was a pretty good deal. And the X factor of being able to do what I love for a living is really hard to measure.
So I'm not looking for specifics here, but, I imagine as an architect, you're probably doing okay. Does being the barbecue editor for Texas Monthly pay comparable to that? Did you have to make some cuts here and there? What did your wife think?
First, barbecue itself, doing it at the rate I was doing it as a hobby certainly wasn't a cheap hobby. So when you take that out of the mix, my salary now is about 2/3 of what my salary was before. So you're actually the first person to ever ask. All I've ever seen written was he took a significant pay cut. But yeah, it's about 2/3 of what it was. But then again, when you factor in all of the miles that I was logging, all the travel, and then just all the barbecue I was eating, that it starts to make it up.
The question that always kind of comes to my mind, and almost feel like, I'm not, but I almost feel like I'm talking to Joey Chestnut in a way where, you're not eating in the same quantity as he is, but you're eating in, 600 plus barbecue joints across the state now and across the country. I got to imagine, one of the questions you're getting the most is, how are you eating all of this barbecue all the time? Does the palate ever get tired? Is there fatigue? Do you wake up one day and be like, God, I just don't feel like barbecue anymore? You've just never hit those plateaus yet, or are there some days where you have to push through?
Well, there are some days where you have to push through, and then you also, I have to allow myself some time to reset, or some visits to reset a little bit, to go back and enjoy those places and just have barbecue for the fun of it. I'm literally right now sitting outside of Louis Miller Barbecue in Taylor, Texas. We just finished up a Texas Monthly dinner there where we got to interview Wayne and got to talk with him behind the pit and really talk to him about his business, and ate some of his incredible beef ribs and brisket, and some of the homemade sausage here. It's those kind of visits where you really get to eat some of the state's best, that you get a little bit of a recharge, and you get to remember how great barbecue can be.
So what are you supposed to be doing as barbecue editor of Texas Monthly? Like, what did you guys define out as far as, what Daniel's going to be doing on a day-to-day basis contributing to Texas Monthly?
Yeah, well, for the most part, they created a domain for me, both literally and figuratively, tmbbq.com. So I write almost daily on TMBBQ, and I had always written barbecue reviews, but now I'm also writing interviews, So taking interviews from pitmasters all over the state, long-form interviews. Also writing a weekly column on something a little bit more in-depth about barbecue. Recently, I went to a class called Beef 101 at Texas A&M where we did a pretty intensive 3-day study on beef slaughter and butchering. So I wrote about that. I also, I'm just about to publish a story about there was a barbecue joint, a little bit of a feud going on in Rockport, Texas, where the pitmaster basically got kicked out of his own business, and they're still using his name. So now there will be 2 Hatfields barbecues in Rockport, Texas. So it's really running the whole gamut.
Is there, when you're doing a restaurant review, I mean, are you pretty recognized at this point, given the length of time you've been doing it, and now that you're with Texas Monthly, are you recognized when you go in to do a review, or are you still able to fly under the radar?
It really varies from place to place. Like I said, I'm out here at Louis Miller Barbecue. I've talked to Wayne so many times that there's really no way I'm going to walk into here and not be recognized. But the review I just posted today was at a place up near Lake Texoma in northern Texas, and those people had no clue who I was. Really, it just varies from wherever you go in the state. There are some people who will send me emails asking me to come to their place to try it out, and they'll buy me dinner. Of course, I can't do that. I pay for my barbecue wherever I go. But, there is more recognition that happens, but it really just does vary from place to place.
Is there a lot of pressure on you when you're doing a restaurant review? And I guess what kind of criteria do you have in place in order to make those decisions and then publish?
Well, like I always say, the most important part is the meat. There are many factors that go into a barbecue experience, of course, whether it's the atmosphere, the service, the sides, the desserts, all those things do factor in somewhat. But if the meat's no good, the review isn't going to be a glowing one. It really is, how is the brisket? How are the pork ribs? Do you make your own sausage? That's a big plus. Do you have another great protein option? Do you have a great pulled pork or a pork loin? Maybe a beef rib? So it's really about the quality of the meat. How much skill does the pitmaster show in the way that they're able to smoke all the different kinds of meat that they've got on the menu, and then just what the overall experience is like.
All right. So, being a Texas barbecue expert, what defines, I guess, in your opinion, good barbecue in Texas?
Well, number one, you got to have great brisket. So in Texas, beef is king. We certainly do a lot of other things well, pork ribs, pork loin, but really it comes down to how good is the brisket, and then beef ribs. And if you got beef ribs on your menu and you can do a great job with a beef short rib, that's certainly one of those cuts that you're not going to find really outside of Texas very often. And then beef sausages. So I don't really know of another barbecue style where sausage plays so heavily into it, and is really in some areas smoked sausage wouldn't even be considered barbecue, but in nearly every Texas barbecue joint you're going to find sausages, and a lot of those you're going to find beef sausages rather than pork sausages. So again, it just really all comes down to the beef.
When you post a review that isn't perhaps very glowing or favorable to a eatery, do they come back at you at all and say, hey, that's not fair, or, why would you post that, or you should give us another chance, or is that just part and parcel with what you're doing?
It happens very rarely. I post plenty of positive reviews, plenty of negative ones. I just posted one here recently on the Slow Bone in Dallas. Basically said, this is a place that's relatively new. They're 3 months into it. They've improved greatly from the time they opened. They're basically on a very good trajectory as far as their barbecue goes. It's almost getting there. It's almost really good stuff, but it's not quite there. And I got a Twitter response from the owner of the place almost immediately that said, didn't love it, didn't hate it, seems fair, thanks. So that's the kind of response that I'm looking for. I don't want to put undue praise on someone. I certainly don't ever want to be mean for the sake of being mean, or just trying to get a laugh out of somebody. This is somebody's business. This is often somebody's life savings that we're talking about. So I certainly don't take it lightly. But I also, the Texas Monthly's name on it. Their name is on it now. So if it's a recommendation from me, it's a recommendation from Texas Monthly, and I certainly don't want to be sending people on long journeys to go eat mediocre barbecue.
Is there one thing that has stood out on a menu where you're like, man, what the hell is that, and why is that on a barbecue menu in Texas?
Well, wow. One thing that stood out. I mean, one of the things that we're starting to see a little bit of is smoked pork belly. That certainly doesn't come from any sort of Texas barbecue tradition. It's certainly delicious, and I welcome more of it. But it is something that's a little crazy. Now, when I went to San Antonio, I went to a place called The Granary. And The Granary, they really have two separate menus. They have a lunchtime menu where they do more traditional barbecue cuts, and they have a dinnertime menu where they do much more, they do plated dinners that have a lot more to them. So it had cracked spent quinoa on top of shoulder clod in a cherry reduction sauce. So it was some good shoulder clod as long as you got the cherry sauce and the quinoa out of the way. So I would say probably most of the dinner time menu at The Granary was a little bit odd, but certainly not anything bad. Just something that catches you off guard a little bit.
Daniel Vaughn joining us here on the show, the barbecue editor for Texas Monthly, TM like Michael, or Texas Monthly. TMBBQ.com is his direct website if you want to check it out here while we're talking. And if we could kind of transition just a little bit, you talked about that class you took at Texas A&M, the experience in the slaughterhouse. You have an article up on Texas Monthly right now talking about that. I found it fascinating. You go to
thank you.
You go to these PETA websites and they show hidden camera video from some dude, and it looks as barbaric as it could be. But look, I mean, you're killing live animals, so I mean, how unbarbaric could it be? But give us a glimpse of kind of what you saw, where you were, and what your takeaway was.
Well, the class actually started with all of the students out in a pen with 7 steers. So there were about 28 students. So there were 4 to a team. So a team of 4 went and estimated the grade of a live steer. So you're right there feeling the briskets, feeling the amount of fat on the ribs, and also looking right into its eyes. I mean, it's right there standing in front of you. And then just trying to determine what kind of grade you think you're going to get on the animal. And then we went back into a classroom for an hour, went into the slaughter room floor, and they were stunning the 7 steers that we had just graded, hanging them up, bleeding them out, skinning them, eviscerating them, cutting them in half. And then they went into a cooler to chill, and the next day we broke that animal down that we had just live graded the day before. So it was an eye-opening experience in the fact that, it's certainly not something you see every day unless you're in the beef slaughter industry. And it gives you a much greater respect for that animal. And it gives you pause when you look down at your plate and you're like, I don't feel like finishing that brisket off. I'm just going to throw it away. Well, an animal had to die so that brisket was on your plate. So it's probably worth putting it in a to-go box, taking it home, and finding a way to use it. So it does give you a greater amount of respect.
As far as the process works, when you go back out from going into that classroom the first time and you get to see the whole breakdown process here, what are they using to, stun it? Is it like an electrical thing? Are they tapping it over the head with a hammer? I mean, how does that work?
Well, it's a stunner. So it's an actual pin that goes into the head and punctures the skull, and it stuns them. And so they're basically knocked out. And so it's you probably heard of the term cash knocker is a more common way to do it, but this one they think is a little more humane because it works 100% of the time, whereas a cash knocker can have some pretty ugly things that happen if it doesn't work on the first shot.
All right, so it's stunned, and then is it like picked up, or the only video that I've ever seen is like the cattle has gone up in this big like Ferris wheel type machine. It's turned upside down with its head out. Some dude walks out with a blade, cuts its throat open, rips out its larynx, and then it's just spit out like completely alive, just bleeding out. This is obviously nothing like that.
Right. So the animal is stunned, and then it's hung up by one of its hooves up on a rail, and it's hung upside down. It's completely knocked out, and then its throat is slit to bleed out. So the heart pumps out blood for about 5 minutes or so, and then it is then its feet are taken off, its head's taken off, and then it is skinned, and then it's eviscerated to take all the guts out, and then it continues to move on down the line. So the process at Texas A&M is a little bit different because it's a smaller scale operation. These are all steps that would be done by the same person every time. So the same person would do each one of these steps over and over and over in an actual slaughterhouse. And at the rate of some of the bigger slaughterhouses, they'd be doing whatever their particular move or cut is every 6 or 8 seconds.
Wow.
So it's something that happens much quicker in the big business of slaughterhouses. But in this setting, it happened a little more slowly, so you could see how the process actually happened.
So, I mean, are you like, oh my God? Are you like, that's happening? I mean, got to imagine when that thing's throat slit, it's like Niagara Falls of red.
Yeah, I mean, there's, nobody in the room was, oh my God, or fainting, but it's a somber experience. I mean, you're watching an animal that you were just basically touching, trying not to pet, but basically trying to determine how much fat is on this live animal, and then it's dying right in front of you. So I just told myself over and over, don't lock your knees. Like, whatever you do, you don't want to be the guy to pass out in here. But at no point did I feel like it was going to be something that's overwhelming. Probably the most off-putting thing is then when they skin the heads and put the head on the table. Anything that still has any spinal tissue that's touching it will have a twitch that continues, and so the entire face continues to twitch for like a half hour. So that was probably the most odd thing to have to witness.
All right. Well, this is exactly how I thought we would end this conversation, talking about cow death eminently. But I think in the grand scheme of things.
Well, I write about. I basically eat beef for a living, and I write about eating barbecue for a living. I felt like I really needed to have an experience where I saw what goes into what is required so that I can make my living.
I think that is absolutely something that should have been done, and I especially think that that's something that needs to come to light because of organizations like a PETA or something that is going to show. I mean, look, it's going to die one way or the other. I mean, if you're just not going to be eating meat, you don't eat meat and you think everything's bad if it's got meat involved. But there's better ways, more humane ways to do it than the ones that they're showing you, and you were actually able to witness that and see how that's going down. So that at least gives us some glimmer of hope that, while like you said, it's a somber experience, the steers going down, it's done in the most humane way possible. And I think if anybody wants to check that out, they need to go to the website and read up on it, because I thought it was absolutely fascinating. I thought it was great work.
Thank you.
Absolutely. So you got Hatfields versus Hatfields. What else is coming up in the hopper that we could look for?
Well, I'm going to be writing one this week about beef ribs. So specifically about all the different cuts you can use for beef ribs, the different qualities of those cuts, and different techniques that pitmasters across the state are using to get the best out of their beef ribs.
Daniel, how the hell do you come to Cleveland and not even give your boy a shout-out? What the hell is going on with what happened there?
I knew that was coming. Well, I figured as much as I promoted it on Twitter and on my website that I'd get a call from you, welcoming me to the city of Cleveland.
Welcoming you to tell you to get the hell out as quickly as possible is typically how it goes. Nevertheless, next time you're in town.
I had a great time at the Greenhouse Tavern. They were great folks.
Yeah, it's a great place to go. Next time you're in town, we'll hook up for sure. We're talking with Daniel Vaughn, the barbecue editor for Texas Monthly. You can find it at texasmonthly.com or tmbbq.com, the direct link to Daniel's website. Daniel, appreciate the time tonight. Let's do it again soon, buddy.
Yeah, you bet. Thank you.
You got it. There he is. Daniel Vaughn, Texas Monthly. How about that? Dude was in Cleveland. No.
Big stuff out of here.
I think sometimes people forget, promoting on Twitter, if you have more than, if you have 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 followers on Twitter, you have this, it gets lost now. Not going to lie. It's lost. Next time, Daniel. I'm telling you, that slaughter article is fascinating. You've got to check it out. TMBBQ.com. Scott Roberts coming up next. All right, gang, let me talk to you quickly about Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply, a trusted online retailer, longtime supporter of this show, carriers of Kamado Joe cookers, Meadow Creek cookers, spices, sauces, accessories, ready to ship to you directly. Oak Ridge brines and rubs, Plowboys rubs and sauces, Smoke on Wheels products. Tasty Licks Barbecue is your Big Green Egg headquarters, including many items for the egg you can't get anywhere else. Also, Tasty Licks Barbecue Supply carrying the Harry Sue's line of chicken rub, which won him the KCBS Team of the Year in Chicken. How about that category? Looking for injections? No problem. Tasty Licks Barbecue carries all the heavy hitters here as well. Butcher's Barbecue, Cosmos Q, every type of barbecue guru, and their associated accessory. Tasty Licks, a Green Mountain pellet grill dealer as well. And Fred says right here on the show they provide classes to the public. I believe he's doing a brisket class either this weekend or next weekend. So take it do some research. TastyLicksBBQ.com. And attention teams, Tasty Licks, your competition headquarters as well. All supplies for competition teams, hands in different sizes, aluminum trays, gloves, thermometers, turn-in boxes for practice. Make this your one-stop shop. TastyLicksBBQ.com. That's TastyLicksBBQ.com. All right, we're coming back with Scott Roberts for sauce and rub reviews. But first, a giveaway. Sweet Smoke Q Juice coming up.
Now's the time on the show where we give stuff away, yeah. It's free and you don't have to pay a thing, that's why it's free, yeah.
All right, you can win from Jim Elser, the pitmaster from Sweet Smoke Q, a bottle of Sweet Smoke Q Juice. If you feel that your odds are in peril tonight, just go to Sweet Smoke and then the letter Q, sweetsmoke.com, sweetsmokeq.com, and order both his original spicy and he's got two different brands of sauces, which I'm going to try on this show at some point. And you can also buy the Sweet Smoke Q Juice, which is a pork ingestion doing very well in the Florida Barbecue Association as well as many other sanctioning bodies. So thanks to Jim Elser. In the subject line of the email you're about to send me, Daniel Vaughn Cow Killer. Daniel Vaughn Cow Killer for your chance to win a bottle of Sweet Smoke Q Juice from sweetsmokeq.com. Good luck.
Big name interviews, advice on cooking brisket and ribs, and the only host willing to share his honest opinion on all things important in the world of barbecue. It's the Barbecue Central Show.
All right, we're back. 877-448-0433. Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com if you want to jump in tonight. Thanks again to Daniel Vaughn from Texas Monthly, tmbbq.com or texasmonthly.com/food. Whichever way you like best. You tell me. All right, helping me close the show tonight, a monthly contributor. He's the official sauce and rub reviewer for the Barbecue Central Show. He's also one of the foremost experts in the world of fiery foods. Let's go ahead and welcome back friend, guest, overall great guy, and my buddy, Scott Roberts. Scott, how are you, buddy?
Fantastic. How you doing, Greg?
Doing absolutely fabulous, Scott. Appreciate you joining me tonight. A number of things to get to as far as products that we'll be reviewing, but before we do that, you are, as I had mentioned in the open, a foremost expert on things that are fiery food-esque. News, late-breaking tips, hottest peppers, what's going on in the world of fiery foods right now?
Nothing late-breaking, nothing important. It's the whole chili pepper race. It's kind of gotten ridiculous. Everybody wants their own official world's hottest pepper. Guinness still recognizes the Trinidad scorpion pepper. The Chili Pepper Institute of New Mexico did a big, huge, super hot study, basically. Took them 10, 11 months last year, very comprehensive, and it was actually the Trinidad Moruga scorpion, which was the pepper king. Of course, I have reported it on here on the Barbecue Central radio show last year,
right.
And that's the one I kind of recognize as the world's hottest pepper.
Have we reached a point at this stage of the pepper game, Scott, where we might not see anything hotter than where we're at? Have we plateaued on the hotness?
I don't think so. I think chili peppers could probably reach higher. Right now, the hottest Trinidad Moruga Scorpion has reached more than 2 million Scoville units. It would not surprise me at all if there was a perfect combination of the soil used, the right humidity, growing conditions, et cetera, if something could be 2.5 million, maybe even 3 million. But once you get to that heat level, that is like commercial grade pepper spray. It's just going to be pain in your mouth.
So what are you going to be if you have something that is that big? And that big in as far as the heat is concerned, like what are you using that in? If I grew that in my backyard and I was able to make something, is that, well, first of all, I guess, is that something you could grow in your backyard, or is that like a commercial deal?
Oh, you can absolutely grow it in your backyard. As a matter of fact, probably 6 or 7 out of the past 8 years, I've grown chili peppers like that in pots. I've grown the scorpions, the ghost peppers, the Moruga scorpion. And what I like to do is dry them out, grind them up, and just use them as just like a little bit of dried chili pepper powder to add to food. A tiny bit to add to some chili, to add some really fierce heat. Chili peppers actually do, even that hot, have a distinctive flavor. Now, if hot sauce makers could utilize that flavor and combine them with the right ingredients, they could make a pretty good tasting sauce. It will also happen to be pretty damn hot.
Like super hot?
Super hot, yes. Yeah. So like, when you get that hot, we're not talking about Tabasco here.
Right. I mean, this isn't, Frank's Red Hot or Tabasco. I mean, this is like something you got to hold off in a safe and make sure that you have the palate that's going to be able to hold that.
Sometimes it could be like that. Now that there are a few hot sauce makers that have kind of diluted the heat a little bit with other ingredients, fruits and garlic and spices and little oddities thrown in there. You can keep it in your refrigerator. But it's probably the hottest of the chili heads who could tolerate this kind of thing. But if you're acclimated to that kind of heat, you could easily pour a bunch of it, on, and it's not going to kill you.
Well, good. We don't want to die when we're eating hot sauce. We just want to feel like it and then have tremendously hot diarrhea the next day. All right, so let's get into the things that we're reviewing tonight, Scott. The first thing is Pappy's hottest ride in town barbecue sauce. So immediately I'm thinking that might be, I'm wondering where this falls into the heat sauce for the barbecue people, not the fiery foods guys.
For the barbecue people, this would be the upper echelon of heat. Wow. You can see the bottle right here. I rarely put super hot stuff on your show. Most people could not take this at all. As a matter of fact, it's a little hot for me. I did just take it in little dabs or maybe even mix it with another hot sauce. Now this, for the heat, uses the chili pepper extract, a capsicum extract, which by most descriptions, and I previously described it as being a really chemical, almost like a metallic taste. It's really bitter, and it makes most sauces horrible tasting. This one does not make it so terrible, but it does add the extreme heat. For the barbecue fanatics out there who are extreme chili heads, they could probably take this one. Anyone else, they just want to stay away from it. But, it was sent to me. I reviewed it. The actual flavor profile is not too terribly bad. It's a good, sweet, tomato-based barbecue sauce. If you are just looking for something on the scorching side, you could probably give this a try. I would not coat a rack of ribs with it. It's to eat that much, to consume that much, unless you're the extreme daredevil, it's probably going to be too much for you.
All right, so what are we looking at as far as amount, price point, and where can you get it?
Okay. It could be found at bourbonq, the letter Q.com. But I have to say, for a cheaper price, just type in Pappy's hottest ride in town barbecue sauce. You can find it in places like Amazon for $1 cheaper than the maker's website. It comes in a 12-ounce container. You can get it for around $5.50, $6 plus shipping.
All right, and this is something that maybe if you're not going to be using it by itself, a couple teaspoons here, a couple teaspoons there, and something else just to kind of kick it up a notch or two.
Pretty much. A good way to use this as an additive. And it will blend pretty harmoniously with a lot of your sweeter, richer tomato-based barbecue sauces.
All right, next item up here for bid is something called barbecue fix sauce. Am I saying that right?
It's actually the initials for Phoenix, Arizona, PHX, their airport code, what have you.
Got it.
So it was named after that. It's an Arizona-based barbecue company. This one has a pretty unique flavor profile. It's the sweet, rich tomato-based, kind of like the aforementioned one. But this one utilizes a lot of jalapenos in it to give it a peppery flavor. And there's also a special kind of odd, almost like a fatty meat dynamic to it. And I happen to look on the ingredients, and what fits that best is chicken stock. So I imagine that's what's kind of giving that really rich, slightly different flavor profile. I happen to like it quite a lot. I mean, this will go great, on pork, chicken, beef. If you happen to like sweet sauces and all that kind of stuff. This one also comes in a 12-ounce bottle. You can get it from the bbqphx.com website for $5.30 plus shipping and handling. This one, if you're looking for something off the beaten path, I would highly recommend it.
Do you have a rating for it?
The rating for this would be a top 10 call.
Wow, look at that. All right, we were remiss in not rating Pappy's Hottest Ride in Town barbecue sauce. What rating did you give that one?
Pappy's would be just a little bit under a backyard griller, 2.5 out of 5. That doesn't mean it's bad. As a sauce, it's kind of average, plus the heat would be off-putting to most people. So, yeah, probably backyard griller for the other one. But the BBQ PHX sauce, 4 out of 5, top 10 call.
All right, so 12 ounces, $5.30, and then shipping and handling on top of that. bbqphx.com if you want to check that out. And then the last item you're reviewing tonight is Dizzy Pig Raising the Stakes Canadian-style barbecue rub. Now, look, Dizzy Pig widely considered to be one of the bigger, more successful commercial barbecue rub makers in the country. I mean, are we stretching with Canadian-style barbecue rub? Does Canada have its own style of barbecue? I mean, last I checked, they're probably importing more from America than they're making there Canadian-style-wise. Are we just reaching with a name? What do you think?
I think they are. If you would ask me what Canadian-style barbecue is, I would just draw a blank. I don't know if somebody like Ted Reeder or Daniel Domofsky could maybe help explain that, but I don't know. To me, it doesn't ring a bell as far as, it's this type of spice or something added to it.
Maybe it has Molson Golden in it. Remember Molson Golden, Scott?
Oh, yeah.
I love that beer.
Kind of dried and put in powder form. That'd be interesting.
Yeah. Lowenbrau, maybe.
Well, anyway, this Dizzy Pig Raising the Stakes rub, absolutely fantastic rub. And you'd mentioned they were one of the bigger specialty companies, and this is one of the reasons why. It has a very salty, but not overly salty flavor profile. It has things like, fresh peppercorns in it, garlic, and there are certain bites you kind of you taste one thing, one bite, another type of spice, another bite. It doesn't mean it's inconsistent, but, in some of the bites you taste a really nice balanced coriander flavor, which I really seem to enjoy. And this, of course, as you can guess by the name Raising the Stakes, it's all beef. I would not try this on anything else. It's all savory, no sweetness. Really not a lot of heat. Maybe, some of the strength from the salt and the garlic kind of kicks it up. But it's not hot. It's not sweet. But it's all savory with a lot of salt, and I dig it big time.
All right, so I don't want to make it seem like I have a better palate than anybody here, that I know what I'm talking about. But if you have something like this that is like beef, I think that there's a difference between steak rub and brisket rub. I mean, they're both beef, but I prefer to have my brisket maybe have a little bit of sweetness in it, where I don't want any sweet on my steak. That's like really weird to my potential palate. Do you find the same thing, or not necessarily?
Personally, I do find the same thing. I kind of like my steaks like my burgers. And that is a complete lack of sweetness. If you put any type of sugar at all, it's just going to be off-putting to me. It's like, what the hell is that? So I do like a little bit more complexity with brisket, but this is made for steaks, and hamburgers too, and it is nearly perfect for that. And I really love this product.
All right, so price point, how much do you get and where can you get it?
Okay, it's $9.75 for an 8-ounce shaker bottle. I don't have it with me. It's probably outside still. You can get it at DizzyPigBBQ.com. And my overall rating, once again, this would be a top 10 call.
All right, so certainly worth it, no doubt about it. Scott, what's going on with the website? Still doing the weekly Firecast, things you got in the hopper?
Weekly Firecast, yeah, still doing it. Took a couple week-long break just because I was moving at the time. I have a couple of shows in the can ready to go by the end of this week. So everybody, if they're into the spicy side of things, hot sauce. I do cover barbecue and grilling, but, I also talk about chili peppers, hot sauce, the whole fiery foods industry. If you're interested in listening to that podcast can be found at weeklyfirecast.com. Of course, I always recommend everybody, subscribe to BBQ Central.
Of course. I mean, who wouldn't do that, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah. You've cornered the market. You have the best show on radio, internet, you name it.
Thank you, Scott. Scott Roberts is the official sauce and rub reviewer right here on this show. You can also visit scottrobertsweb.com to check out what's happening in the world of fiery foods and obviously get that weekly Firecast as well. Scott, always appreciate the time, and we will talk to you, believe it or not, in August.
Wow. Where's the year gone?
I don't know,
Amazing.
But it'll be there. We'll see you in August, buddy.
Okay, well, thank you, Greg.
All right,
I appreciate it.
You got it. There he is. Scott Roberts. ScottRobertsWeb.com if you want to check him out. I like the weekly Firecast as well. And if you like different industries that are kind of similar but different, why not? Yeah, Tasty Licks carries that steak rub too. Of course, Fred does, right? All right, gang, let me talk to you about the official jeweler to the Barbecue Central show and to barbecue people in general, Stephen DeFranco. Look, folks, summer is rapidly coming to an end. What better way to get yourself into the proper frame of mind than with a fine timepiece or a pair of diamond earrings for your wife or girlfriend, perhaps same-sex lover, whatever. Bacon? Bacon wafting through the house at 10:53. Visit StephenDeFranco.com if you're not in town. Peruse the inventory, and once you found what you like, you give Steve a call, 440-943-2700. 440-943-2700. Ask for Steve. If somebody answers the phone that doesn't say, this is Steve DeFranco, say, I'd like to talk to Steve. He'll get on the phone, say, hey, Steve, I'm a barbecue brother or sister. I'm a Centralite. I listen to you every week on the show. Rempy's always doing the live reads for you, and I saw this watch or this piece of jewelry or this custom bowl, whatever the case may be. No, not that kind of bowl, Centralites. Come on now. Stay classy. What can I do? Well, he will ask you a bunch of questions. He'll determine that what you are looking for is actually going to meet your needs. And then once he has deciphered what you're looking for specifically, he'll make recommendations. And then watch the dollars fall off. I mean, give me a break. You're going to get free shipping, of course. You're going to get, if you have a watch or something that's engravable, is that a word? Free engraving of the watch. Obviously gets free batteries for life. He'll set the time. You get an extra year of warranty when you buy it through Stephen DeFranco. It's absolutely the place you need to look. I tell everybody all the time, if you have always wanted to get in a relationship with a jeweler that you know, that you can trust, that I'm doing business with pretty much on a monthly basis, this is the guy you want to talk to. Plus, since you know him, you are saving money. You go to Rogers, you go to Zales, you go to Jared, or any of these chain places. It's a little thing called overhead. You know what that means? You don't get to save the money. Stephen DeFranco's is a single brick-and-mortar place right in the business district of Willoughby, Ohio. Little different pricing structure there. Little different scheme. Little different ability to work with you. Why not give him a call? 440-943-2700. Ask for Steve. Tell him you're a Centralite. Take it from there. You'll be happy that you did. Or visit StephenDeFranco.com. We'll give away something right out of the break here, too. Why not? Got some koozies and other such revelry. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Now's the time where we give stuff away. People give us stuff on the show to give away at no money for you. That's why it's free. Send an email on its way when I tell you to. That's why we give stuff away.
Let me just point out, the video feed is going to drop here in just a second. It's a new version of XSplit. It's going to drop. Don't freak out. You're still going to be able to hear me. Oh, wait. Maybe it won't if I don't hit close program. Can everybody still see me? Everybody still see me? Yes, no? Maybe so? Your chance to win a pair of Kingsford/grilling.com koozies. How about that? I'll send them right to you. All you have to do is send me an email, and in the subject line, put Scott Roberts Anal Fire. Scott Roberts Anal Fire for your chance to win a pair of Kingsford grilling koozies. By the way, congratulations to Basic Patrick for winning the last Sweet Smoke Q juice. So you send that in, and we're all set to go. We'll come back to wrap the show up right after this. Stick around. I'll be right back.
Broadcasting live from the Barbecue Central Radio Network studios in Cleveland, Ohio. You're listening to the Barbecue Central Radio Show. Once again, here's your host, Greg Rempe.
All right, we are back. (877-448-0433), Greg at thebbqcentralshow.com. Let me see what we got here for inbox stuff. A terrible feeling. Something has happened. All right. I got to get out. I got no time for this.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I know I don't. All right. All the way back in the first hour, we talked with... Who do we talk? Oh, Patrick Martin's barbecue joint. Then we talked with Lene Oxley, Sugar's Barbecue. In the second hour, we talked with Daniel Vaughn. And then we ended the show with Scott Roberts. Outrageous. All right. Big show packed for next week. If you cook with raw cast iron, season it each and every time you use it. Little Pam, Little Crisco as it cools down. September 11th, 2001. I will never forget. Until next Tuesday at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, this is your program host and proud U.S. American, Greg Rempe. By the way, congratulations to Scott Walton for winning. Good night now.